Hello, everybody. It is Mike and Eva here, and today we are going to talk about,
How to choose the right partner.
and this is a very important subject because when you're choosing a life partner or a long-term partner or whatever, that you should have qualities that you like or choose, and these are just what we like and whatever likes. These are not right or wrong answers. We're just talking about the qualities that we like.
Well, we just want to bring a little bit more awareness to people that are dating to date with a kind of a clear idea what they want out of the relationship. If they just want to date, if they're just looking for a life partner, if they're just looking for companionship, and to help people out there figuring out and start thinking
Right.
more realistically of what they're looking for. A lot of my friends are around our age and close to 50. They never been married. They've been dating around all their life. And that's another thing that you might want to think about. Do I want to really get involved and date somebody that was a serial dater on their life?
Right. And yeah, she's right about that because, like, in my opinion, I would think like I would rather have somebody that at least had a successful relationship at one time in their life than somebody who, just dated around, played the field, then waited till they get about 50 and start getting in panic mode and, like, oh my God, my life's coming to an end. I got to find somebody now. But instead, they just played their whole life and everything and had fun. And now they're trying to settle down. So, we're just talking about qualities that we like. And so,
Well, the qualities that I'll talk about qualities I was looking at and that
right.
I look at when I'm considering dating somebody.
So, on that note, why don't you go with your first one?
My first one, definitely loyalty and honesty. They kind of go hand to hand.
It's funny because we didn't talk about this in advance. And it's funny to me, loyalty was my first one on my list. And because without loyalty,
You have nothing.
you have nothing. You want to make sure if you're willing to make a commitment in life that person has your back. Doesn't just like treat you like a disposable option, or if something they think is better comes along, that they'll just dump you off. So loyalty, in my opinion, is probably the most important quality for sure. What do you think?
Oh, definitely. I mean, without loyalty and honesty, you don't have anything. You don't have a real relationship because even if you're loyal and your partner is not loyal, if you're honest and your partner is not honest, then you can't really go on with your life with that person. It doesn't matter if they're cute, successful, well spoken, well dressed. It doesn't
Right.
matter if you don't have those two most important qualities in a person.
All right. Since we went, Eva did the first one, I'm going to go with the second one. I would actually say that you need to find somebody for the second one that you're actually attracted to, physically attracted to some at first, because that can change over time. But I think in the beginning, you need to have somebody that, you're physically attracted to.
Well, that's a man's thing. I think I'm more in after intellect. I when I pick somebody to date, I the first thing besides if they're honest person, good person, kind-hearted, I look at their intelligence because to me looks fade, everything fades,
Right.
but the person you're with stays. So to me, intelligence and being on the same level, it could be just overall intelligence, worldly views, etc., plus emotional intelligence. Are they stable mentally? Uh, all that is very important to me.
Right. I would. I'm still going to kind of stick with that second one as being the physical attraction because let's be honest, when you click somebody on a dating app or whatever, you're not, checking their intelligence or whatever immediately. Now, I mean, unless they have like it really well written in their profile, whatever. But that you got to have some kind of physical attractiveness at first. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, of course, a little bit, but for me personally, me talking to somebody is more important than me having sex with somebody right away because I have to develop more emotional bond
Right.
before I can develop sexual bond. So for women probably out there, intelligence and conversation are probably number two.
Yeah. So what would be your third?
My third, I don't know. Let me see. Um, I, I like somebody that's more of a go-getter. I don't like people that talk about, oh, my ex was this, my ex was that, victim of the world. Um, I like people who are more outgoing and just taking the life like a bull by the horns. So that's very attractive to me.
Right. So saying somebody that's basically able to pick themselves back up after adversity would be one of your
Exactly.
third
hmm
qualities.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
that's a good one. That's a good one. Um, okay, so mine would be I would like I would choose somebody to have common interests with
hmm
because that way you don't really get bored and you have similar things in common. So if
Yeah,
you both are wine drinkers or foodies or love to travel
true.
or whatever like that, I think that's an important, very important for me and one of mine. What would
hmm
yours be?
Well, that was my second, what you're talking about. So my fourth would be physical attraction. Of course, I have to be physically attracted to, but I believe that physical attraction develops through conversation and having the other qualities as well.
Right. So
Because even the cutest person will become ugly in your eyes when they are not mentally stable and they make your life hell.
yeah, so yeah, that's valid. I mean, I would say that's true. Like when you, yeah, yeah, you got to have somebody that's mentally stable. I would actually, that's actually good. I actually like the mentally stable because you can meet somebody and even spend quite a bit of time with them, and then you realize that they weren't mentally stable. So
hmm
that could be a that's well that's how you got to get to know somebody over time. But
So,
that yeah, definitely on that.
so what's your fourth quality?
I would say that well, okay, I had the physical attraction, the common interest, the loyalty, and the trust. To me, is another thing, and it does go hand in hand with the loyalty. But I would say that finding somebody that you can trust and that doesn't really play games with you kind of makes you feel secure in the relationship to a point. I mean, that makes sense. Like feel
Yeah.
secure,
hmm
like I was told that for a successful relationship to always work, you should never go to bed angry, but never give the other person reason to doubt. So the reason to doubt could be like game playing, like not picking up your phone just to try to get a rile out of them, or things of that nature.
Yeah. And there's a lot of coaches out there telling you, oh, don't call him back and don't do this and don't do that. That's just a bunch of
Yeah, like example, this
games.
turning off your messenger on your
hmm
Facebook where the other person can't see, if you're online or something. I mean, to me that would be like game playing, for example. That would be a good one, or not answering the phone. Like I figure at this point in our lives, like people are just adults and should be taking it more serious. So I would say that that would be my fourth one. What
Yep.
would your next one be?
The things that we don't talk about, religion and politics, that will be my fifth one. Because I do believe that if you're not aligned with your spiritual views and you're not aligned with your political views, there's very little chance for you to survive in a relationship.
Yeah, me and Eva, we had the same political beliefs, so that's not really an issue for us. But I could see that if you were dating, like, say, if one of you is conservative and the other one's more liberal, I could see how that could be an issue for sure.
Especially in today's political makeup.
Right. And then, yeah, because you don't really want to, have fights over silly stuff, you know. So if you're both aligned like that, then I would say that would be a good one, you
Mhm.
know. So that yeah, that's kind
Mhm.
of like common things in common, common interests,
Yes.
things like that.
But people don't think about it when they start dating. They're
Right,
just, oh, I just have fun. I met this cute guy and he's all that and bag of chips. Next thing they know, he lies, he cheats, he
right,
fights with them over political issues. He loves football, you hate football. He loves pasta, you hate pasta, and you're a gluten free person. On and on and on. So when you're trying to align yourself with somebody and find a person that you can spend the rest of your life with, I think you should consider those kind of things.
so you got another one?
Another one, yeah, somebody that can compromise with you, and it's easy for you to compromise with them. Basically, finding the middle ground if there would be a disagreement that arrives.
Yeah, I could see that. Like, not always be right, but
Hmm.
like be willing to talk about it and
Hmm.
compromise. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would definitely. All right. So another one of mine would be just having a good moral compass. You want, in my opinion, I like somebody that doesn't do bizarre things like steal, cheat, um, you know, anything like that. Just have good
Hmm.
morals. Don't people that are good to their mothers and their parents. In general, and so that would be a good
Hmm.
quality.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Those are all great. Would like to know what you think would be great qualities to look at when you're looking for somebody to spend the rest of your life with. Why don't you comment on below, and would love to hear from you.
Yeah, that would definitely be a good thing. But so, like, we talked about all these things, and uh, me and Eva have dated for about 2 years at this
Hmm.
point, and we're engaged, and we're gonna get married in about 4 months. It looks
Yes.
like. So
Hmm.
that's in June, I believe. But we're
True.
we're talking. So that's then how did I pass on those qualities?
You did good. I mean, you're very honest, and that's one of the qualities that I love about you. And you're truthful, and you have great heart, and you're compassionate, and you're a good person, and you're a go-getter. You showed me over and over that no matter what, you come on top and you do the right things doing it. Um, and everything else basically aligns, including physical attraction. So, yeah, that's why we're getting married.
Right. Well, when I first I met Eva like 2 years before I even asked her out, and so. But when I finally asked her out, I was surprised how much we did have in common. We
Mhm.
had a lot in common. We both loved food and wine, and I thought she was beautiful, and so all that. And then I got to hanging out with her and had a time of my life. So I mean, it's
Yeah, time flies. When you're with the right person, times go by quickly because you're having fun. You're not fighting. You're not counting days. It's just one day after another flows nicely, I would say.
right. Yeah, and once you find somebody and you know, usually everybody, if they have flaws, they're going to come out eventually, even if they hide it. So like somebody acts like they're honest or whatever, and we've all been there, So and we ain't ever talked about it off camera. We both had situations where we've been played, say that, or
Oh, yeah. Who likes to be played? So why be a player? Don't do something you don't want to get in return.
right, and in situations like that, right. When I was in those encountered those situations in my past when I was single, at first it kind of shocks you, and then the next thing you can get caught up in that trying to like the little game playing, like not answer the phone back if they don't, call, and just little things like that.
Being
And
breadcrumb, that's a great one with guys when they're dating a lot of people. They'll breadcrumb you like, hey, how are you? And then disappear for a day or two.
right,
Hey, what you're doing? And then disappear. It's like, they're breadcrumbing you. It's like, why don't you,
Right.
why, even answer those kind of messages?
In my career, I've worked with a lot of guys before, and they would tell a woman anything that it took to get into their pants, literally. So they would tell them, "Oh yeah, baby, there's a bright future in it for us and everything." This is a total bunch of BS that they had no intention, just trying to get another notch under their belt. And I mean, I literally heard this word for word out of people's mouths. So, you know, I chose not to really be like that in my life because I like, um, I guess they call it being purple pill. I
Hmm.
like being in a relationship and having somebody to spend my time in life with, and me and Eva are pretty much inseparable,
Hmm.
and I like that. And I don't get bored being with her. Just pretty much anytime I'm not working or anything. So you got to think about that when you're choosing a partner. Can you spend your time with them? Your free time. Is that going to get on your nerves? That's
True. Yeah. Yeah, nothing would be worse than hanging out with the person you don't want to be around, and you're married, and you hide in the house when he comes home, and because you have nothing to talk about, and you get on each other's nerves for whatever reason.
right. So you got to kind of like have somebody that you can grow old together with, and not resent and things like that. So I would say that's important. That's
Hmm.
important to me. Finding somebody that you don't mind, like you're excited to be with. Like in the beginning of a relationship, they call it limerence, I believe, when somebody's just like excited. You know, but we're like 2 years in, and being with Eva does not or hasn't gotten old to me. So
Because we have a good time.
yeah,
That's just icing on a cake.
yeah,
And so that's how it's supposed to be. It should be just the icing on the cake,
yeah. And there's
not
been
everything.
right, and there's been times where I'm like, wow, I can't believe I think I even like you more that time's
Hmm.
passed, instead of and I've been in some relationships before where things didn't work out the way I wanted, and eventually you start resenting that person and you start growing apart or whatever. But I've never been in a relationship where um, the more time goes by, the more I like that person, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. Because you learn more about each other. You can see the true person. And
Right.
if you like the true person even better than the person you met, that's like no brainer.
Right, because like, what if somebody, you like if you just go by looks only, and you get with somebody, and what if they gain 50 pounds or something? Then their looks may change, So you got to have somebody that you truly, and that goes back to the loyalty, no matter what, you know.
Hmm. True, true. But also, looks change. We all get older every year. It's a
Right,
different number.
teeth change,
Teeth, yeah, yes, wrinkles, all that.
yeah, everything.
Yeah. So, like my mom used to say, make sure you pick the right person because the person stays and the body and the beauty goes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean it's like, so the purpose of this video, like Eva and I believe that we have a um,
Very good
a
relationship.
very good relationship, and we could almost be like I guess almost like a prototype for what a good relationship.
Well, yeah, we're inspiring all our friends to
Right,
give up their singleness right now.
right, and a lot of times, like we have some single friends, and they'll tell us like, "Oh, I'm not taking nobody's crap. I wouldn't," or
Hmm.
and they go in with a bad attitude. When I met Eva, for example, I did not expect anything. I came out of a long deal, and I believe she did too,
Hmm.
and I didn't expect anything. I thought we were going to hang out, just
Same here.
have a little fun and everything. And then all of a sudden, like a week went by, 2 weeks went by,
Three
three,
months went by.
yeah, 3 months went by, and like we're inseparable, and
Yeah.
that's the
Hmm.
truth, and like you got to have somebody's back. So like, in my opinion, like if somebody means, people can tell you that, oh yeah, they call it love bombing, I
Oh
think.
yeah, love bombing. That's what narcissists do.
right? So
Hmm.
they do all that love bombing.
That's
Oh,
another subject that we probably should make a show about.
yeah, but they'll tell you, "Oh, I love you" and everything,
Hmm.
and they're just saying whatever they have to do to pacify you or to get what they want, whatever that may be. And so that's definitely yeah, that's another thing.
Hmm.
The so like I was told a long time ago, if you're going to get married to somebody, you got to ask yourself, like, do you really love that person? Where like truly, like, if something happened to them, like it bothers you. You don't want nothing bad to happen to them, or like if you feel protective over somebody naturally,
Yeah.
and if you feel that way, then maybe
Hmm.
there's a good chance that you do love that person.
Yeah.
It's like in modern society, in my opinion, with these dating apps, people can just swipe and say if somebody gets on their nerves, whatever. Oh, I'll just get somebody else.
Yeah, because all the apps and dating sites, they teach us that people are disposable, and there
Right.
is more. It's like tissue paper.
Right. And it can be that way, but at the end of the day, what do you get out of it, And like in my opinion, that's the reason I'm purple pill is because I enjoy being in a relationship. I enjoy being
Well, I
monogamous.
don't think people know. Most people know what's purple pill is, so you need to explain that.
Well, the way I understand it, like you could be like a red pill, which is more like a player type, and then more like a blue type would be a beta male, if I'm getting that right. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. And then like the purple pill is like in the middle of that. You're not 100% trying to. You're not a player at all. And I don't.
But you're masculine,
Yes, very masculine,
but
but
you like to be in a relationship.
yes, like to be in a relationship. And
Mm.
yeah, I don't want personally. I don't want to date like 5 women in a week. Or have the rotation like that everybody talks about these days. And
What does rotation bring you?
I know at the
It will
end of the
bring
day,
you hate and a lot of disappointment and stress.
right,
But I guess it's also adrenaline, so maybe some people love the adrenaline
right.
rush.
Or the only thing that I think a lot of people that have been hurt a lot of times they'll try to run a rotation, and if that way if somebody gets screwy on them, they still got somebody else to lean back on. But you know, chance taking would probably another thing would be on my list, that somebody that's willing to take a chance on you, you know,
Hmm.
and everybody knows even the best relationships have ups and downs.
Oh yeah.
So you know, I was telling Eva one day that we were talking, and her parents have been together for a long time, about 40 years or something.
More like 50 something. No, actually, the 50th is coming up.
Okay, so they've been together
Hmm.
for a huge number of years, and I can always say that they don't look at each other like, if somebody gets mad, I'm getting rid of you, and so that's not really, if you. So I told Eva, like that's when we got engaged, like we can't live in the past in general. Like you had bad things happen to you in your past. I had bad things happen to me in my past, and we're engaged, and you move forward with your life, and
Hmm.
you can't dwell on it. You just got to be loyal to each other. Whatever. The thing is, I believe that everybody knows right from wrong without being told.
Of course. I think everybody has moral compass. Most people. There are some people that have mental issues and they don't. But most people know the right from wrong. Um, and that shouldn't be an issue, knowing that cheating is cheating, talking to other people is cheating,
Yes.
running around behind your husband's back or your wife's back. It's not a good thing.
Right.
And lying, cheating, and manipulating. And it just creates zero trust in the relationship. It creates issues and fighting. And at the end of the day, it's destructive behavior.
Right. And the way I look at it is that you can accomplish way more if you got somebody that has your back and you're moving forward. And oh, me and Eva, we always laugh about it, but we make people throw up on the Facebook as far as they see our pages and stuff, and they see all the lovey-dovey and going out, and we post it all the time, and hand holding and kissing and whatever, and
We
it
made it a joke. We say, oh, let's see how many people will defriend us this time.
right, and it is true.
Hmm.
See, that would be another thing. We're going to wrap this up in a few, but
Hmm.
that's another thing that I um, don't let people influence
Sure.
you.
Hmm.
Would be a very good quality because there's so many people that love to see you down. I guess it's like that story that I've heard many a times. Like there's a bunch of crabs in a bucket, and then one crab's trying to get out, and then another crab reaches up, pulls them back down, puts them right back in it again. And it can be that way in the dating scene for sure, even with your friends, because just because they're miserable with their life,
And misery loves company.
yeah, and you know, uh, this matter of fact, when I first met Eva, I asked somebody that I knew about Eva, and they said she is not your type. So I got an attractive blonde that we have common interests. We're inseparable. We're gonna, be getting married and everything, but she's not my type. But this particular person is a miserable, miserable
Human being.
human being. Yeah, for a better, lack of better words, I guess.
Hmm.
So it's
That would be another great video to make
yeah,
about, misery loves company or a crab bucket.
yeah, and we're
Because that's not only about relationship, that also um, talks about overall life and your lifestyle, life choices. And if you try to get out of the crab bucket, doesn't matter if it's love relationship or your industry or work, etc., etc., people will do the same thing.
right. A good example, say like if like me and Eva had a fight, right, and then say like if Eva was to tell her girlfriend, you know, like me and Mike had a fight, and then the girl say like, oh, I knew he was no good, girl. You need to get rid of him, so she could try to
We all
get
had those friends.
they try to get you back on the same level, as they are,
Yeah.
just because they're miserable, never going on dates, and I've always noticed that, kind of getting on a
Hmm.
tangent a little bit, but I've
Hmm.
always noticed that the people that give the advice, and even guy friends, I've had guy friends do
Oh
this.
yeah.
So even like a deal like that is, you know, yeah,
They don't have their life
they
together.
don't have their life together. For example, um, somebody sit there tell Eva, that I'd get rid of him or whatever, but they're living with their kids still, or working minimum wage jobs, just trying to get by in life, and
Because they made poor life
make
choices.
poor life choices, want to be a player and play the field and have to have their freedom and yeah, well, be free for free at
Yeah.
that minimum wage job while we're having a great life.
True. Yeah.
So we have a great
Hmm.
life together,
Yes.
and we got off on the soapbox a little bit, but we talked about like talking about a lot of these subjects on this channel about experiences that we had and with dating. We both were single on and off for over 10 years each. I had a longer deal and a little bit, and she did too. On so, but overall, it was still just a cesspool. Is what
Hmm.
we call it, cesspool of dating.
Yes, that's what I used to call it, the cesspool of dating. Hmm.
So so yeah, that would be another good one to talk
Hmm.
about. In another subject. This. So we touched on a lot of qualities here. Like um, loyalty, honesty, trust, finding the right person with common interests,
Compatibility,
compatibility,
religion, politics.
yeah, even physical,
Hmm.
compatibility
Yeah.
and amazing, time together and stuff like that, and you know, knowing somebody that's loyal is probably the very best quality somebody could probably have, and then
Mhm.
it goes from there.
Yeah,
So
very true. Very true. Well,
yeah, this is going to wrap it up on this particular episode. We're going to call this our first real episode of the Mike and Eva. For lack of better terms, we'll call it the Mike and Eva show. But our channels is Mike and Eva,
mhm.
and let us
Please
know.
subscribe
Yes,
if you
please.
like our content.
Yes, like and subscribe if you like it, and if you want to hear anything else,
Let us know
let
in
us
our
know.
comments.
And on that note,
Cheers
cheers. Y'all take it easy.
to good life.
It's a good life.